The number one skill that creates wealth isn't what you think. It's not accounting, not investing, not even saving. In fact, most people spend their entire lives avoiding it. And that's exactly why they stay broke. The truth is, every millionaire, every successful entrepreneur, and every great investor master this ability first. And here's the twist. It has nothing to do directly with money. But without it, you'll never build true financial freedom. Stick with me, because once you uncover this skill, you'll realize it's been right in front of you all along. Financial literacy, that's your superpower. Kiyosaki says it over and over again. Financial literacy isn't just a bunch of terms and formulas. It's a way of thinking that allows you to see opportunities where others only see problems. He encourages us to study accounting, investing, economics, and law, even if we don't plan on becoming accountants or lawyers. Why? Because this knowledge gives you an edge. It allows you to make smart decisions with your money instead of blindly following the advice of bankers or financial advisors who are often more interested in their own profits than yours. And one of the key parts of financial literacy is understanding taxes. Robert Kiyosaki claims that the rich know how to use tax laws to their advantage, while the poor and middle class end up paying the highest taxes. This doesn't mean you should avoid paying taxes. That's illegal. It means you need to understand all the legal deductions, benefits, and structures that can reduce your tax bill. For example, owning a business or investing in real estate often comes with more tax advantages than simply being an employee. Don't work for money, make money work for you. This is probably Kiyosaki's most famous idea. It sounds a little crazy, right? After all, what does he mean by not working for money? That's what we all do. But what Robert really means is that most people trade their time for money. Their income is directly tied to the number of hours they work. If they stop working, the money stops coming in. That's a very limited model. Instead, he suggests that we build systems where our money works for us. This could mean investing in dividend-paying stocks, creating a business that generates passive income, like an online course or a rental property, or even just saving and investing consistently so compound interest can work its magic. Imagine planting a small financial tree. At first, it's tiny and doesn't produce much fruit. But over time, if you keep watering and taking care of it by reinvesting profits, it grows into a big tree that provides a harvest without your constant effort. Kiyosaki often compares this to a lever. Money invested in assets becomes your leverage, lifting you to a new level of financial independence. Kiyosaki urges us to look for opportunities where small investments can lead to big returns. For example, buying a property that needs a few repairs and then selling it at a higher price or renting it out, or creating a startup that could eventually be sold for a significant amount of money. The key is not being afraid to think big and search for creative solutions, overcoming fear and taking risks. Let's be honest. Talking about risk is easy, but actually taking risks is much harder. From childhood, we're taught to avoid mistakes, be cautious, and follow the rules. That's great for survival, but it's not always the best path to financial success. Kiyosaki knows that the biggest barrier to wealth isn't a lack of money. It's fear. Fear of losing. Fear of failure. Fear of being laughed at. Fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. He suggests we change how we look at fear. Instead of running from it, we should learn from it. Every time you feel panic or anxiety about a new financial step, ask yourself, what can this fear teach me? What information is it giving me? Maybe it's telling you that you need more knowledge, better preparation, or even a different path. Fear isn't your enemy. It's just a signal. Another key point is taking action. Many people get stuck in what's called analysis paralysis, where they research and plan forever but never actually take the first step. Kiyosaki is clear. The most important thing is to start. Even if you start small, every step brings you closer to your goal. Buy your first book on investing. Attend a seminar. Start putting aside even a small amount of money. Try something new. The key is to keep moving forward. He also emphasizes the importance of your environment. If you want to be financially successful, surround yourself with people who have already achieved what you want. Learn from them. Ask questions. Absorb their experience. And avoid people who constantly complain, criticize, and drag you down. The people around you have a huge impact on your mindset and your actions. create a business. Don't look for a job. This is a true shift in focus. Kiyosaki strongly emphasizes the difference between an employee's mindset and an entrepreneur's mindset. Most people are taught to look for a good job, one that's stable, with benefits and a pension. But that path usually leads to dependency on a fixed salary, which rarely creates true financial freedom. Kiyosaki encourages us to see the world differently. Don't look for a job, create one. Don't be part of someone else's system. Build your own. This doesn't mean you should quit your job tomorrow and dive into the unknown. It means you should start developing an entrepreneurial mindset. And what is that? It's the ability to see problems and turn them into opportunities. It's about taking responsibility, taking calculated risks, learning from mistakes, and constantly seeking new ways to create value. Instead of waiting for a raise or bonus, an entrepreneur thinks, how can I create a product or service that solves someone's problem and that people are willing to pay for? Kiyosaki gives examples of people who, while working a regular job, started small side projects that eventually grew into full-time businesses. It could be anything: freelancing, launching an online store, renting out a property, or even developing an app. The most important thing is to take action and realize that having control over your income sources is the real key to freedom. A traditional job may give the illusion of security, but in reality, it makes you vulnerable. On the other hand, your own business, even a small one, gives you leverage and the potential to grow your income without limits. This is a fundamental mindset shift that completely changes the game. Another crucial point is develop emotional intelligence and learn how to work with people. Although Robert Kiyosaki focuses on financial strategies, he constantly points out that success in business and investing is impossible without well-developed emotional intelligence and people skills. And this isn't just about being friendly or smiling more. It's about deeply understanding human psychology, being able to build trust, negotiate, motivate a team, and resolve conflicts. Very often, these soft skills are what drive the hardest financial results. Kiyosaki also stresses the importance of building a strong team. You can't be an expert in everything: accounting, law, marketing, sales, management. A smart entrepreneur knows when to delegate and bring in professionals. He encourages you to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in certain areas and to learn from them. This means knowing how to find, hire, and keep talented people, as well as inspiring them to pursue shared goals. Without effective teamwork, even the most brilliant idea will remain just an idea. Furthermore, emotional intelligence helps you deal with the stress and uncertainty that are inevitable in the world of business and investing. The ability to control your emotions, stay calm under pressure, adapt to change, and not panic at the first sign of trouble is priceless. Kiyosaki himself faced hardships and losses many times, but it was his ability to learn from failure and keep moving forward without letting his emotions take over that helped him succeed. He teaches us to be leaders, not just managers, by inspiring others and building relationships based on mutual respect and trust. At the end of the day, money comes and goes, but strong relationships and the ability to interact with the world are assets that will always remain with you. Another key lesson: make sales your number one skill. When you hear the word sales, what comes to mind? A pushy salesperson? Annoying spam calls? Many of us have a negative, biased view of selling. But Robert Kiyosaki argues that the ability to sell is the most important skill for building wealth. And if you don't know how to sell, you'll always be the one buying other people's ideas and working toward their goals. Think about it. What is a business? It's the ability to sell a product or service. What is raising investment money? It's the ability to sell your idea and your vision of the future. What is attracting the best people to your team? It's the ability to sell them on your mission. Even in a job interview, an employee is essentially selling their skills and time to an employer. The only question is, what are you selling and on whose terms? Kiyosaki urges us not to fear the word sales, but to intentionally develop the skill. It's not about manipulation. It's about the ability to communicate value, persuade, negotiate, and build connections. This skill is directly tied to overcoming the fears we mentioned earlier. The biggest fear in sales is the fear of rejection. By learning to calmly accept no and move on, you build an emotional resilience that is priceless in business and investing. So, how do you develop this skill? Start small. Read a book on the art of negotiation. Sign up for a public speaking course to overcome stage fright. You could even take a part-time job in sales, not for the money, but for the experience. The goal isn't to become a professional salesperson, but to learn how to communicate confidently, present your ideas, and stand up for your interests. Financial literacy will show you where to go, but the ability to sell is the fuel that gets you there. Now, what Kiyosaki calls the rich dad mindset is directly connected to escaping the rat race. So what exactly is the rat race? Imagine a hamster on a wheel. It runs and runs, spending a lot of energy, but it stays in the exact same spot. That's what happens to most people financially. They work hard, collect a paycheck, pay bills, take on debt to buy things they don't need, and then repeat the cycle. They're stuck in a trap where income barely covers expenses, leaving no time or resources to escape. Kiyosaki argues that the reason for this lies in our education. We're taught to be good employees, not financially independent people. We're taught how to earn money, but not how to use it wisely. Robert's main message is assets versus liabilities. This is probably the most fundamental lesson he teaches. It sounds simple, but most people confuse the two. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. The house you live in is a liability for most people because it constantly costs money: mortgage, taxes, repairs, utilities. But if you rent that house out and it brings steady income, it becomes an asset. The same goes for cars. Your personal car is a liability, but a car used for ride-sharing or deliveries that generates income is an asset. Robert urges us to shift our mindset. Instead of buying liabilities that increase expenses, focus on acquiring assets: rental properties, company stocks, your own business, or intellectual property. The key is that these things generate passive income, money that flows in even when you're not actively working. Picture this: several small streams of passive income. Even if each one only brings in a few $100s a month, together they can cover your basic expenses. That's when you truly escape the rat race. You're no longer tied to a single paycheck. You gain financial freedom. So what's the big takeaway from this deep dive into Robert Kiyosaki's world? That wealth isn't luck. It's the result of conscious choices and the right mindset. Change how you see money. Learn the difference between assets and liabilities. Pursue financial literacy. Don't fear calculated risks, and above all, make money work for you. It's not an easy path, but it's worth it, because escaping the rat race is the first step to living the life you've always dreamed of. If you want to transform your financial life, don't wait any longer. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Every step you take today brings you closer to the financial freedom you've always dreamed of. Don't stay stuck. Start now